Voters have taken to the polls with about 5.5 hours until polls close. You're looking at a live picture of Utica, where people are voting pretty steadily. Here's the question. Will GOP frontrunner Donald Trump succeed in sweeping all 95 New York Republican delegates? And if he does, what could that mean for the RNC convention in July? Let's bring in Republican Congressman representing the 1st District of New York, Lee Zeldin. Welcome, Congressman. And what about that? Donald Trump seems to be doing extremely well here in the state of New York. What's your prediction?
Well, the real question is how close to a sweep does he get?
Yeah.
There's little doubt that he is going to do great tonight, as the results are coming in. I don't know if he's going to be able to sweep all of it, but it looks like he's going to come pretty close.
You have not committed yet to any candidate. Why not?
Well, I mean, first off, we see if Neil Cavuto on the 6th ballot at a contested convention, putting that aside, I'm probably too plain-spoken to become anyone's surrogate. If I endorsed somebody today and tomorrow they took a position, they said something I disagreed with, I would take them on even though I endorsed them. So, right now with all the personality conflict going back and forth, I'm just sticking to the policy and focusing on my district.
Well, I'm glad you used the conflict word. Conflict, high anxiety, that's what people are starting to talk about for the Cleveland Convention. And that becomes a major, major issue for a lot of people wondering, does it really have to come to that? What are you expecting? And in the chatter in the halls behind you in Washington, D.C., what are Republican congressmen from all states anticipating for that Cleveland convention if Donald Trump doesn't hit the magical 1237 delegates?
So there's the first question. You hit it, is how close does he get? Does he get to 1237? If he doesn't get to 1237, does he come close to it? And if he doesn't get there, what that second ballot ends up looking like.
What if he gets within, say, 30? Let's just say he gets within 30. Can you really, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying the proverbial you, can you and the RNC really sit there and take that away from the guy who has way more votes than Ted Cruz and John Kasich and just missed it by that much?
I don't think so. Not at all. I mean, I talked to a lot of Trump supporters. If they see Trump get that close to 1237 and he doesn't leave Cleveland with the nomination, there is going to be a huge issue that will result in a loss of a lot of votes in November. So even if Trump comes really close to 1237, I would see him getting the nomination.
You sit on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. President Obama's Air Force One is just now taxiing to leave Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. This is a live picture. And Representative, he's heading, of course, to speak with the Germans, to speak with the Saudis. This is a big, important trip at a very testy time. You served in Iraqi Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. I don't know if people know, but Representative Zeldin was on the 82nd Airborne. You're also a lawyer. You've done a lot in your life. But what do you think really needs to come of this particular trip that the president is taking?
It's really hard with the president's foreign policy. I mean, just last night you have Joe Biden speaking right after a bus attack in Jerusalem ends up seriously injuring 21 people. You have Joe Biden criticizing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for taking Israel in the wrong direction. So what we're seeing is that the president's foreign policy, whether it's to Europe or Middle East or Russia and China and North Korea, he is just so off base on so many different levels. I don't know exactly what we should hope for on this trip. Consistent with this president's foreign policy, it seems like every time that he's scoring a victory for himself, it is adverse to the best interests of American security.
You're the only Jewish Republican congressman, and I just, as we watch him take off, that was an unbelievable moment where Vice President Joe Biden was ripping Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu's trying to keep his nation alive. He's surrounded by many hostile nations, and now with the Iran nuclear deal, which I'm sure you can't possibly be happy with, which candidate has the best plan to protect and support Israel from where you stand?
Well, all three candidates have been strong with regards to their policy. I will say I've known Senator Cruz for a very long time. He has been rock solid for many years on his policy as it relates to Israel. And I think that Mr. Trump has evolved his position a little bit. He made a statement that I was concerned about with regard to neutrality. I mean, we just saw it last night. When you have innocent Israelis get terrorized, you can't play it neutral.
Well,
you need to stand strong with our allies.
How can you be neutral in that type of situation? Well, Hillary Clinton has been a staunch supporter of Israel, and as Secretary of State, she's made a lot of statements about those kinds of things. I know it's hard for you to cross the line, but are you okay with where she stands on this?
No, I'm not. The fact is, I do not have faith. She was Secretary of State during a lot of challenges during the President Obama's first term as it relates to Israel. I don't know really where she would stand if Hamas launched 50,000 rockets from Gaza or Hezbollah launched 50,000 rockets from Lebanon, and Israel, with the inherent right to self-defense, defends herself, and you have a lot of loss of innocent lives. I don't know what Hillary Clinton is planning on doing regarding the Palestinian Authority rewarding criminals with cash payments. So there's a lot of conflict right now in and around Israel that Hillary has been unclear with, but her term as Secretary of State leaves a lot more questions than answers.
Representative Lee Zeldin, thank you very much for joining us. It's a busy day and we appreciate it.